Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm IATF qualified auditor doing audit for the automotive sector for the last 18 years. I'm again back with a very interesting and topical topic that what exactly is cybersecurity. Well, when we talk about cybersecurity, the first thing that comes into mind is what exactly the security is. So you can think about any security guard maybe standing outside a store or maybe a factory or somewhere else. So that person ensures that only the authorized person should go in, and in case anybody tries to go inside without any permission, so that person is going to stop that person and make sure that only the right person should go in. Something similar you can see in the malls, also in the stores, wherein there is some security data is there, security card is there with each cloth. So in case you are taking a cloth without permission or without buying it, so once you go out you will find some buzzer is there, so that indicates that you are taking something out without the proper permission. Something similar is in the cyber security also. So these two words are cyber and security. So when we say cyber, it means that we are talking with respect to anything which is related to internet, about information. It could be technology, network, application, data, computer. It could be anything. So that all is called cyber. Then the second word is security. So when we say security, it is means network security, it can be application security, it can be information security, or it can be anything else. Now moving further, how it is linked with the automotive sector or maybe to any manufacturing industry in the automotive sector. So you must be knowing that in industry, majority of the things are on the server, and many of the manufacturing activities are happening with the help of a SCADA system, wherein everything is automated and interrelated, and the information is stored in a certain place, and many of the decisions with respect to the manufacturing process, data storage, that transfer of data is done through a SCADA system. So in case somebody is going to steal that particular information, then it can be a problem for the organization if the person is doing it with an unauthorized manner. Something similar is in the cars also, if you see today. For example, let's take the example of Tesla car, which is most important car or most popular car in the world at this moment. Now, it is all connected through different softwares and it's all interconnected. Sitting at home, you can decide that where the car has to go from this place to this place or this place to some other place. So there is always a possibility that if the information security controls are not there, somebody can hack. And when somebody can hack, then person can decide when to apply the brake, or maybe in that automated car, somebody can also decide when to have an accident. So all those things are possible if the controls are not effective. To move further, in this particular video, I am talking in detail about what exactly is cybersecurity. Then after that, I'm going to talk about in detail about the meaning of cyber and security, why cyber security is important, what are the different types of cyber attacks which are there, what can be the different ways of it, what will be the impact of cyber attack. Then there is a confusion between cyber security and information security. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Then how cyber security can be improved, what are the different myths that industry is having with respect to cyber security. Then IATF 16949, which is related to automotive sector, is talking a lot about information security and the cyber security. So what exactly is the linkage with respect to that, and what are the present industry challenges which are there with respect to it. So first start with the definition of cyber security. So when we say cyber security, primarily it's an application of technologies, processes and controls to protect the system, networks, programs, devices and the data from cyber attacks, and the main aim is to reduce the risk of cyber attack and to protect it against the unauthorized exploitation of system, networks and the technology. Now here one thing which is very important is that in an organization there's a lot of data which is there, and there is a certain purpose that why the data is being collected, and then it is being utilized for different purposes. But in case somebody try to steal that particular data, who is not authorized to do that, that can create some problem. So the awareness of the people who are working in the organization, who knows about this information or this particular data is very important, that they should be aware that how to make sure that this information can be secured in an effective manner. Now moving further, the next step is with respect to knowing that why this cybersecurity is important. So you must be seeing that for years and years as we are using computer, we are talking about firewall. Now this purpose of the firewall is to make sure that whatever information is in the organization, it should not go out, and in case somebody is trying to steal, then this firewall is going to help us in avoiding that. It is something similar in our mythology when we talk about Sita Mata, when she had to prove her purity, then she had to pass through the fire to prove that yes, even after staying with Ravan for so many days, still pure. So something similar is with the fire security also. And why cybersecurity is important? It's important because the cost of cybersecurity breach is very high, and it's increasing because in case you need to pay some amount with respect to the lost data, it's very high. Then secondly, these cyber attacks are becoming very sophisticated. We may think that we have got a very good infrastructure and data, but still we don't know that how this attack can come. And then it can lead to a very critical management issue, and it is becoming a very big business because in case you are able to attack a particular company or maybe a particular system, then you can make a lot of money. And if you look at in the present cars, I'm not talking now with respect to the Tesla, but even the normal cars which are there in different countries, they are interconnected with so many things. So for example, it is as simple as that in case there is a accident in your car, so automatically through your antenna that information will go to the nearby emergency room, and then somebody will come and help you out. And similarly, there are many different kind of security controls which are there, which are interconnected with the car, and in case somebody can hack that, then that can be a problem for the organization. Now talking about what can be the different kind of cyber attacks which are possible. So there are different technical languages which are there, which are used with respect to those. So it can be phishing, it can be ransomware or malware, it can be backdoor, form jacking, crypto jacking, and maybe many different kind of names which are there with respect to that. Now there is also a very common thought process that the only way for cyber security attack is when somebody can get your password and then somebody can hack your system. But actually there are many more different ways or the different opportunities which these hackers use to attack the organization, and let me share some of them. So the first one is generally they try to convince the individuals who are working in the organization to share some sensitive information, or maybe through some other ways. Sometimes it is also called phishing, or maybe at times that the hacker may try to impersonate that yes, I am a trusted person. Maybe the mail is coming from your boss and you may think that yes, you need to give this information, but actually it can be a hacker. Many a times through phone calls we get some emergencies and we think that no, we need to give some information immediately, and that can be a reason with respect to that. Many a times we go to some popular website. Say for example, we want to see some interviews or maybe some movie reviews or maybe something else. So when we go to those popular websites, there is a possibility there is some malware there, and then our system can be hacked. Or it can be with respect to the USB drives, which are a very easy source which are there in our computers, that somebody can very easily access the data, and especially when the USB drives are left on the laptops or on the desktops, that can be a problem. And many times it happens that when we discard our laptops or the desktops and we discard it, so at that time we don't realize that there's a lot of information which is there in the hard disk and which we don't remove it, and that can be an issue with respect to that. So that means another important thing, that what can be the impact of these cyber attacks. So these cyber attacks creates a lot of havoc in the organization. First of all, the confidential information can be compromised. Secondly, the information and the identity of different people and their personal data, that can be secured by somebody else. And then another important thing is that in an organization there are many automated systems and there are many manufacturing activities. So at that time those operational activities can be interrupted because of the cyber attack. Maybe somebody can take remote control of your entire system, say for example a car, and then the person will decide that where the car is going to move or which manufacturing process, which process parameter is going to work at that time. And then, which is a very common thing like this about ransomware, that somebody can encrypt the organization's critical data and then can demand a ransomware or demand a ransom with respect to that, so that that information can be unencrypted with respect to that. Now, there is always a confusion with respect to what is the difference between cyber security and information security. So when we talk about information security, it is a broad term which includes both the hardware and software. But when we talk about cyber security, so primarily it is a subset of information security, wherein primarily we are talking about any security which is related to computerized system. So that's a key difference between information security and the cyber security. Now talking next. Now what exactly are the different kind of cyber securities which the information or maybe the organization may be having? So it can be with respect to the network security, maybe the cloud security, Internet of Things. IoT is a very big and popular thing at the moment in industry. So that can also be a very important thing. So that brings a very important question, that how this cyber security can be improved. So first and the foremost, the most important thing is awareness. The self-awareness is the most important thing. Then the password management plays a very important role. The role of top management is also very important, because unless and until management think that making sure of the cyber security is important, nothing is going to help in the organization. Then many new regulations like GDPR, General Data Protection regulation from Europe, which came in 2016, or there are some standards like ISO 27001 which can be very useful with respect to this. And then many organizations employ ethical hackers. And the role of ethical hacker is to make sure that to find out that what are the possible ways in which the data can be hacked. So rather than somebody else is hacking the data, those people find out the ways in which something can be hacked, and then actions can be taken with respect to that, so that it can be plugged and some actions can be taken with respect to that. Now talking about IATF 16949 and its interrelationship with the cyber security. So as per the sanction interpretation in July 2021, there was a new requirement which has been incorporated with respect to the cyber security and the cyber attack. And this has been implemented from November 2021. And there are 4 different clauses where this particular requirement has been specified. So the first clause is with respect to the risk analysis in clause number 6.1.2.1. So herein the intent is that the organization should have a proactive approach to identify by different ways in which the cyber attack can happen, and what are the controls the organization should apply with respect to that. The second clause is with respect to the contingency planning, 6.1.2.3. So herein the idea is to make a plan with respect to the cyber security attacks, to periodically test that what are the vulnerabilities which are there in the organization, and what can be the proper appropriate testing that organization should have. And then organization can also use an ethical hacker, as I stated earlier, with respect to that. The next one is with respect to plant, facility and equipment planning, which is clause number 7.1.3.1, which again is talking with respect to the cyber protection of equipment during the new product development process. Then the next important thing is about competence of the people, because unless and until people are aware about the requirements of cyber security, it will be very difficult to implement that. To talk about the customer specific requirement, at this moment only Fiat Chrysler in their CSR has specified about the cyber security in the clause 8.3.2.3 with respect to embedded software. To talk about some of the industry challenges with respect to the manufacturing sector and the automotive sector with respect to cyber security, the first and the most important thing is that this particular requirement has been specified as per sanction interpretation in July 2021 and implemented from November 21. How many organizations are aware about this particular requirement? The second thing is that even though companies may be aware about this particular requirement, but how many organizations are clear what exactly is cyber security? And the third and the most important thing is that what actions organizations have taken after July 2021 with respect to cyber security and identifying the risk and taking some actions or planned action with respect to the contingencies with respect to that. So if I do a summary, I talked in detail with respect to what exactly is cyber security, what is the meaning of cyber and security, why the cyber security is important for the organization, what are the different types of cyber attacks, what can be the impact of cyber attacks, what is the difference, key difference between cyber security and information security, how cyber security can be improved, what is the linkage between sanction interpretation of IATF 16949 with respect to the sanction interpretation and the cyber security, And then finally, what are the different industry challenges that we are facing with respect to that? Well, my next video again will be in connection with the cybersecurity, and there I'm going to talk about GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, which is published in 2016 in Europe. Regularly, I'm getting a lot of feedback from your side, and they are helping me to understand your expectation. So please do continue that. And in case you want to understand about this particular video in a little bit more detail, you can find there's a link below. If you click that, you'll find a blog there, and there you will find this information in much more detail. And in case you're liking these kind of videos and blogs, you can always share with your friends and colleagues, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and my website, bhavyamangla.com. Thank you.